You have to watch out as a client for people that are going on a transactional method. And that's the big problem that a lot of people are encountering, is that everyone is so transactional with it. Even in their attempts to build rapport, they're so robotic, and it's just like, oh, ask about weather. No, it doesn't matter. I mean, are you talking to a meteorologist? Is that what he did for 30 years? Then it's okay. But no one asks these questions. No one takes a real interest in people, right? And I would say if it is my mom actually going through it, and my mom right now has federal employee benefit because she works for the VA, right? But she also gets to choose some of the reps and stuff on there. And anytime she needs help with anything, even if it's something like getting her car serviced, I was like, Mom, talk to the person, and don't ever, if you're looking to buy anything, don't ever think that you are wasting that person's time. Engage them in conversation and see how they react to you engaging them in conversation. As a consumer, do that. Because if they start seeming disinterested, or they start really trying to oversteer it to where it needs to be, then they are not interested, right? They should care about you as an individual, as a human being, as a long-term consumer, right? That's why they should embrace that. And if you're talking to someone who doesn't embrace that, they're either brand new or they're highly transactional, and you don't want to be that anyway. This stuff's way too important for you to be just a number. Way too important. So, I mean, that's one of the things, though. So how, when we're talking, what are some other things that you can see to where, if you're an agent, right? If you were speaking to an agent in some other aspect of your life, what are some of the things that you personally would watch out for and make you feel like you're not being valued, or you're not being seen as anything other than a sale?
Well, I can tell you what would make me feel valued is somebody, right, getting into a conversation with me, getting to know me, but asking me questions that I never even thought to ask myself in this whole scenario. You know, when you're looking for insurance, do you think to yourself, okay, I have this question about this, I want to make sure this is covered, I want to make sure so-and-so is taken care of, and if I have this situation going on, I want to make sure that's also going to be covered. I have a question about that. But when an agent gets to know me to the point where they're asking me things that didn't even occur to me could be a possibility, you know, they bring up a scenario that I hadn't even thought about, that they're looking out for me and making sure that even this scenario I hadn't even thought about is going to be covered.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, I like that, because that also ties into what Jacob really kind of found and innovated when it comes to final expense. Who takes care of you when you're sick?
I think, and I have a prime example here. So this weekend we've been trying to find a dog trainer for Miller to take him like 2 week to like whole month, and so we had this call with people in San Antonio. There were 2 ex-Marines.
Please don't say ex. We hate it when you
Sorry,
say ex.
not ex-Marine, Marines.
Former Marine or Marine.
Former Marine, okay, ex-wife.
Or, yeah, we don't get divorced from the
not
Corps.
Not former wife, it's ex-wife, okay. But
or just Marine, just say Marine.
Marine.
2 Marines,
So
you're always a
2
Marine.
trainers. And so it was a really nice conversation. We talked to him for about 30, 45 minutes or so. He was really not statistical, but you could tell that's like it was a little bit of a rehearsed pitch. And like me and Michelle were side by side on speakerphone, and I even, because I had my laptop with my email up, and I was like, this guy's not that really good of a salesman, because he did a lot of talking and not a lot of listening. So after we did that, there was one guy in Dallas that we're trying to get information on now. And he responded. He called me this morning at like 8:15, so it's like I had to send a voicemail. All of a sudden, I get 4 text messages, like zzz, 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 zzz. It's all copy and paste bull crap that he sends to everybody else. That is like, hi, this is me responding to your request. Next message. The boarding rates are as follows. Next message. This is how I train. Next message. Please send me first name, last name, dog name, date of birth, breed. And like, it's like my phone was blowing up, and I go, nobody can text this quick. And I mean, they're paragraphs each text.
Ugh.
How do you think that made me feel?
Yeah, and you're going to send your baby to live with them for 2 weeks or however
This guy doesn't even
No.
have a timer. He just goes, he's done when I'm done with him.
Yeah, and you're going to, no.
So that could be 5, 6 weeks, or 2 weeks, 3
yeah.
weeks.
Better
But-
yet, why doesn't anyone ask, well, what do you want your dog to be? Do you want to be a sheepdog? Do you want him to be like a guard dog? Do you want him to just be someone that's really good for the kids? What do you want? Do you want a calm dog? Do you want a
Exactly.
dog to play with? What do you want?
And that guy didn't bring up anything. I mean, I'm going to call him later today, and we're going to have a phone conversation. But with the guy that we talked about on Sunday, I made it clear. I'm like, look, we need two separate things. Number one, Michelle needs training for him in the house because she's starting a new job. So he needs to be a little bit more calmer and not freak out. So it's easy to work with from home. What I want him to be e-collar trained because we do a lot of outdoor stuff. Like, I want to go to the Llano River where it's 500 yards wide, and I can be 300 yards upstream fishing, and he's just out in the grass just running around. I can hit the button, he comes straight back to me.
Right. Or you can even make, there are trainers out there that can make a certain whistle or a call where that dog, doesn't matter what he's doing, he's coming back to you.
Exactly. And so that was, in bless the guy's heart, the current Marine, and he just would not ask.
Retired Marine.
Marine. He just would not ask me what I wanted.
Yeah.
He wouldn't ask me. And then finally at the very end, I'm like, look, like this is all fun and dandy. We're talking about impulse control. We're talking about at-home stuff. Here's what I am concerned with. Because all he did is ask her.
Oh, well, of course he's going to ask her.
Well, yeah, but.
Because let's face it, Michelle's making the decision.
Yeah, actually not on this one. It's up to me.
Well,
but.
usually, yeah.
But you had to tell him the questions the basic things he should have been asking you. You had to tell him how to do his job, and that's.
Well, no, his job is to train dogs.
His job is to not sell his training. His job is to be the trainer.
Right.
So he needs somebody else to be doing the selling, it sounds like.
And honestly, his interest, and that's one of the things that's triggering you, is that his interest really isn't in you.
His interest is in the dog.
Right, which I guess is okay, but you're right. I mean, it's something that really can drive you nuts, and it drives our clients nuts. And the problem is that so many people are so desensitized to this.
Well, and they're getting so many phone calls. They're
Well,
getting people.
I don't think it's the number of phone calls. I think it's the sincerity behind the phone call.
Of course it is.
Well, it's going back to basics. I mean, that's how people used to talk to each other. They used to come over for coffee and talk about each other and the families, and it's just been so, the sales process has been just so twisted and just, it's in this abomination now where it's, the other agents going into these sales classes, every person on the phone has a number, a dollar sign on their head, or they're a sale, so many sales per call, ratio, and classes on, selling to women, and, it's all, these are sales that call, not people, they're people. And you have to talk to them like people. And I think it's just simply getting back to what it was, which is two humans interacting.